If you've ever built a Power App, you've been there. The app is powerful, it's functional, but that form? It's a monster. Just a long, scrolling list of fields that makes your user's eyes just glaze over. Well, today, we are going to fix that. We're going to turn that cluttered mess into a clean, tabbed interface that's not just user-friendly, it's actually a joy to use.
Does this screen just fill you with a sense of dread? Yeah, I'm willing to bet it does. This right here is the endless scroll of death for user engagement. They're just hunting for that one specific field, and all they can do is scroll and scroll and scroll. We've all built forms like this, but today we're going to learn the tricks to make sure we never have to again.
And look, this isn't just an inconvenience. I call this the long-form nightmare. It's honestly where good apps go to die. All that powerful logic, all that amazing functionality you built, it's just hidden behind this wall of frustration. It feels clunky, it feels old, but the good news is the fix is surprisingly simple. So, here's our game plan. We'll start by really nailing down the problem. Then I'll introduce you to what I call the magic variable. It powers this whole solution. After that, we'll build the basic tabs, learn how to control our fields, uncover the secret to handling fields that show up in multiple places, and finally add some of that professional polish to make your app really stand out. All right, let's pull back the curtain. The entire solution we are building today hinges on one single concept. I call it the magic variable. And I am not exaggerating when I say this. If you understand this one idea, you are 80% of the way to mastering this entire technique. So what is this magic? It's just a simple state variable. Don't let the fancy names scare you. Think of it like a little sticky note that your app uses to remember one thing and one thing only: which tab is the user looking at right now. We're going to call ours var current tab, and that's its entire purpose in life. It really is that simple. And this right here, this is the elegant three-step dance that makes our form come alive. It's a constant loop. First, the user clicks a tab. Second, that action instantly updates our var current tab variable with a new value. And third, everything else on the screen immediately reacts to that change. Fields appear, colors shift, things pop into view. Click, update, react. That is the heartbeat of our dynamic form. Okay, theory time is over. Let's actually start building something. In this section, we're going to create the basic tabs. We'll take that magic variable concept and turn it into a real, clickable navigation bar, probably using a horizontal gallery. And really, it all breaks down into just 4 key properties. First, you create your tab names in a simple little table. Second, you set the onSelect action for your button to update our magic variable. Third, you use a quick if statement to change the color of the active tab so the user knows where they are. And finally, you just display the tab name. That's it. That's all it takes to build a fully functional tab navigation. Okay, so our tabs are working, they're clickable. Now for the main event, actually controlling your fields. This is where we connect those tabs to the form and make entire groups of fields appear and disappear with just one little line of code. Now, I need you to lean in for this because this is the most important rule of all. We are only going to change the visible property of our fields. We're not going to move them, we're not going to resize them, we're not going to mess with their X and Y coordinates. Trust me, that path leads to madness. We just tell each field when to show up and when to hide. It's clean, it's simple, and it's totally foolproof. And here it is. This is the exact code, and it is just beautiful in its simplicity. You select a data card, in this case, maybe the hire date, you go to its visible property, and you just write a simple logical test. Is our variable, var current tab, currently equal to onboarding? If the answer is yes, the property becomes true and the field appears. If not, it's false, and it stays hidden. You just repeat this simple pattern for every single field. All right, this next part is a total game changer because it solves the #1 problem people run into when they try this method. I call it the shared field secret. How do you show the exact same field on more than one tab without your form completely breaking down? This is where so many developers go wrong. Your first instinct is to just copy and paste the data card. Don't do it. Power Apps will not let you have 2 different data cards trying to update the same data column. It causes submission errors, it causes layout nightmares, it's a mess. The right way is to have one master data card as your single source of truth, and then use a second variable to share its value. On the other tabs, you just display that value in a simple, unbound text box. So let's walk through that pattern. First, you pick one data card to be your master. Second, on its onChange property, you create a new variable to hold its value. Third, and this is the really crucial step, you change the data card's update property to save that variable, not the text input directly.
Then finally, on your other tabs, you just add some simple text inputs and point them to that variable. It's the one source of truth principle in action, and it will save you from a world of hurt. So at this point, we have a perfectly functional, working tabbed form. But you know what? Now let's make it look amazing. This next section is all about adding that professional polish and taking the form from just functional to truly awesome looking. So are you ready to make your form look and feel less like a default app and more like a premium, custom-built application? Let's check out a few really powerful techniques. This is all about taking your user interface to the next level. We're talking color-coordinated tabs that match your theme, adding hover and pressed effects for a really responsive feel, maybe a cool moving underline that slides to the active tab. You can add section headers inside the tabs for even better organization, and even dynamic background colors that change with the context. These are the little details that make an app feel really premium. But hey, if you only take one thing away from this section, make it this: use containers. Seriously, they are an absolute, non-negotiable best practice. Why? Well, they completely get rid of manual X and Y positioning. Their wrap property can automatically create responsive grids for you. You can show or hide an entire group of fields at once just by toggling the container's visibility. And best of all, they keep your app structures super clean and logical in the tree view. Okay, let's bring it all home. Let's recap the most crucial points. First, one variable to rule them all. That single-state variable, var current tab, is the engine for your entire tab system. Second, control visibility, not position. Always, always use the visible property. Third, for any fields that need to appear on multiple tabs, you have to use a shared field pattern with a master data card. And finally, containers are your best friend. Use them. They will make your life so much easier. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Now that you have all the tools to build these clean, professional, and really dynamic tabbed forms, what's that one frustrating, long-scrolling process at your job that you're going to streamline first?